What's up, YouTubies? We are going to do a little deck profile today on the Dustins. A lot of people were kind of requesting some deck lists from some of the fun stuff I've been posting. So I went ahead and, while I don't have a definitive list, I thought I'd go ahead and post what I've been testing and talk about some of the other cards I've been kind of thinking about. If you have any suggestions for the build or cards I might have missed, feel free to leave a comment below. If you have any questions about anything that I didn't go over in this video in terms of cards, put that in the comment as well. I try to answer all comments as fast as I can. So just to kind of preface this a little bit, the Dustin archetype is all about flooding the field, both your side and the other side, with these little Dustin monsters here. So far, the only ones that have been announced are yellow, green, and red. Red is already out. Green is going to be out this next week with the new set and with Tachyon, and then yellow will be coming out in the next set. So what I've kind of done here, the main Dustin kind of OTK play in its simplest form is to bring out House Duston in attack position or face-up defense position. Face-up is the preference, you don't want to set it. And then allow your opponent to attack over top of him. Hopefully they didn't bring out a lot of monsters. And with House Dustin's effect, when this face-up card on the field is destroyed by your opponent's card, either by battle, and it was face-up at the start of the battle step, or by card effect, and it's sent to the graveyard, you can special summon any Dustin monster of your choice from your hand and or deck to anywhere on the field, but you must special summon an equal number on each side. So in essence, I can bring out as many of these Dustins as I would like onto my side of the field. I just have to make sure that I can summon the same number of Dustins to the opponent's side of the field as well. So of course, if they have 5 monsters, I can't bring any Dustins out onto my side of the field. The other little catch to all this too is if you read the actual Dustin monsters, the very last sentence in the effect is you can only control one face-up Yellow Duston, you can only control one face-up Green Duston, you can only control one face-up Red Duston. So House Dustin can also summon himself, so there is no condition on House Dustin in terms of how many you can bring onto one side of the field. So while if one House Dustin on your side is destroyed, you can bring out 2 House Dustins, sending a green and a yellow to the other side. The maximum amount of Dustins at this point in time until we get, here, let's see here. I can't bring the cursor over there, but if you look on the House Dustin card, there's a white one, there's a blue one there as well. So it looks like at some point in time in the future, we're going to have 6 total Dustins, House Dustin being one, and then white, blue, yellow, red, and green will be the other ones. I kind of wish that white one was a dark, since House Dustin is a light, and that would give us access to all the different kind of, you know, we'll have a dark, it looks like blue will probably end up being a water type, etc., etc. So the whole goal here, the main strategy with the Dustin, is to bring out the House Dustin and face up, have it be destroyed either by card effect or by battle, so that you flood the field with Dustins. Assuming they only had one monster on their side, you could bring out 4 Dustins on your side, send 4 Dustins on their side, so when your turn comes around, you have an empty slot in your monster zone, and there is a total of 8 Fiends on the field, except for the one that you're summoning, which hopefully would be Goblin King. And Goblin King's effect, while you control another Fiend-type monster, this card cannot be attacked. The attack and defense of this card is equal to the number of Fiend-type monsters on the field, excluding this card. So he doesn't count himself. So if we brought out 4 Dustins on our side, 4 Dustins on their side, that's a total of 8 Fiends, giving Goblin King a total attack of 8,000. Now, if we bring out multiple Goblin Kings, which you've seen in some of the other videos, the Goblin King doesn't count himself, but he will count the other Goblin King that's on the field. Part of the main strategizing in terms of getting your House Duston out and your Goblin King out is the card Stygian Stygian Security. And while he is kind of a neat little monster in the fact that he's a tuner, the main reason for him is that this card can't be destroyed by when this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, special summon one level 1 fiend type monster from your deck. So you can grab him from your deck, you can bring out your House Duston, and you can bring out your Goblin King by suiciding him into something via attack. So, that is the main gameplay for the Dustons. I just personally feel that that's kind of like a one-trick pony, and while I love the one-trick pony, it's kind of nice to have a couple other things to kind of fall back on. So I wanted to kind of talk about this particular variant, and then I'll talk about some of the other variants that I'm kind of working on down here at the bottom as well. Kind of go over some of these little optional kind of cards and talk about that. The first one here, and this actually is one that I'm currently testing. I'm not 100% sold on this card just yet, but it does create some kind of alternate kind of gameplays to kind of take place. And in a deck like this, where people really, once they figure out what you're trying to do, they can shut it down pretty easy. It's nice to kind of have Neosphere and BLS and Chaos Sorcerer to kind of fall back on to kind of turn the tables a little bit. So for those that don't know, Darkness Neosphere, it can't be normal summoned or set. It cannot be special summoned except by sending one fiend type monster you control and one fiend type monster from your hand to the graveyard when your opponent monster declares an attack. This card cannot be destroyed by battle. Once per turn, you can return all face-up trap cards you control to the hand. So while we don't care about the trap cards all that much, the thing that's nice here is if you happen to have multiple Dustons out and they attack into the House Duston, you can still get the House Duston effect. You can still bring out your Dustons, and Neosphere can still go off because Neosphere reads monsters you control, and one fiend type monster doesn't have to be the one that's being attacked. So when Neosphere comes out, you have a 4,000 beat stick to deal with, and the fact that he, if you look at the level, he's also a 10. He also can make Gustav Max doable as well, so you can burn for 2,000. That's also one of the reasons why, if you look down here, Trigodia is kind of one of the other kind of tester cards in terms of if I were to kind of pull out some of this Chaos variant sort of stuff, and I want to bring in some of the kind of hand trappy kind of fiends down below, then that's doable as well. Trigodia and Neosphere can easily make Gustav Max and burn. So that's Neosphere. That's why he's kind of there. The other two kind of cards, BLS and Chaos Sorcerer, the rationale behind these two guys are that with the Dustons all being one, it's very easy and actually encouraged for the most part to run Kinka Byo. Now, you do not have to run Mystic Piper if you're running a more kind of pure Dustin build. He's just not needed. But the fact that Kinka Byo can bring out your Goblin King or bring out your House Duston makes him really, really good. So the thought here is okay, so we have 6 Darks there with Security and Kinka Byo, 9 with the Goblin King. Fader doesn't really make it to the grave unless I'm doing something with the Sheeny Magician Girl. So for the most part, if I already have all these Darks that make it to the grave pretty easy, and I only have like 3 lights, by adding the Mystic Piper in there, I get some draw power, as well as open it up for a Chaos Engine, so that if they do start to kind of foil the main Goblin King play, I have some backup with to be able to kind of do some interesting things here. Once I have their field kind of controlled, these guys can just run rampant. Another card that you'll see down here that I actually just recently kind of took out to make some room for some of the testing stuff was Spatial Collapse. And the cool thing about Spatial Collapse is it's very easy to lock down the opponent's side of the field, so you can kind of build up some kind of advantage. So in like a burn, kind of build where we're taking advantage of some of the secret barrels and just desserts and other sort of kind of burn cards, we do main the Ceasefire. I very easily can lock down their entire field, send over 4 of the Dustons over to their side. Maybe they have a 1 set card, so that makes 5. So right away, they can't do anything. Their entire field is locked. These Dustins, well, I shouldn't say that. The preference really is to have like 2 set back rows is really doing them no good, because the House Duston you can tribute over top of. So there would be an out there, but so these, the yellow, the green, and the red, they specifically read that it cannot be used for a fusion, synchro, or XYZ material for a summon. While it's face up on the field, it cannot be tributed. They can Book of Moon it and then tribute over top of them because it has to be face up. But it really gives a problem if you have spatial collapse and like 4 of the Dustins with a set back row that they can't currently activate, and then you can just start burning away with some of your burn cards. So this particular build, though, the fallback is the Chaos. To go over some of the other cards, I don't think I really need to explain BLS and Chaos Sorcerer. Kinka Byo is great. It's a dark. It can bring out that one, be it House Duston, be it Sygian Security, be it Goblin King, or if you have a Mystic Piper in the graveyard to continue the draw power. That works out really nice. Security, I don't need to go over too much. Just read the effect. You'll understand why that's in there. It brings it out from the deck, so it helps get your House Dustin out fast. Helps get your Goblin King out fast. Let's just talk about maybe the Dustins a little bit and why you decide which Dustin over the others. Now, Yellow Dustin, you shuffle, let's see here, when this card is on the field, the controller targets 1 card in their graveyard, shuffle that target into the deck. So you can send this over to the opponent's side, attack over top of it, knowing that if they don't have a whole lot of cards in their graveyard, and they might have 1 or 2 that they really need, you can kind of mess up some plays by making them send it back to their deck. The House Dustin, we already kind of went over why that's run. The green one, the controller targets 1 spell or trap they control and return that target to the hand. So that works out kind of nice. If you send it over, destroy it, they got to get rid of 1 of their back row. Red Duston is the main target that you're sending over to your opponent's side of the field. He's the one that when he's destroyed, when he's on the field destroyed, the controller takes 500 damage. So on top of, and the other thing too about House Duston, you control what position you bring the Dustins out in. So you can bring all the Dustins to your side of the field in defense position, send them over an attack to in attack position on your opponent's side. So in addition to running the big play, if you can't pump that Goblin King up to 8,000 attack, you send this guy over into attack position, attack with Goblin King over top of him. In addition to whatever they take, because he's only 0 attack, they also get 500 points worth of damage. So that's why we're typically sending him as the main suspect over to your opponent's side of the field. Mystic Piper, great. It's a target for light, so helps out with that Chaos engine. Other than that, you can kind of keep bringing him back with Kinka Byo to keep drawing to help repopulate your hand. Goblin King, again, we went over top of that. Why that card is used. It's a really kind of cool card. If done right, it also can get around Bottomless Trap Hole. So if you already have him out and then you do your Dustin play, then he's already out when he gets pumped. So a lot of times what will shut this deck down, if you already have, if they've attacked into House Dustin, you brought out all your fiends, and then you summon Goblin King and he gets bottomless, and that kind of sucks. Battle Fader gives you that little bit of stall, but the other cool thing is that Battle Fader works really, really well because he's a fiend, so he helps pump up that Goblin King. Battle Fader also is really good with Where Arf Thou. When you summon your Battle Fader on their battle phase and he hangs around to the next turn, that way you're almost guaranteed of not having to pay that 2,000 life points. So that's Battle Fader. He's also a dark. His effect, banish it when it leaves the field, but if you can bring him and you can make like the Sheeny Magician or one of the other kind of XYZ materials, you can still get him into your graveyard. 1-for-1 is an easy one. You can dump whatever you'd like to into the grave, and then special summon your House Dustin or your Goblin King. and that also works really well because Kinka Byo can also pull out from the grave whatever you discard. Heavy Storm, just because what really will kind of hurt the deck will be back row. Things that kind of really prevent you from being able to attack with your Goblin King or bring out your Goblin King. So we need that one Heavy Storm. I do have 2 MSTs over here. I'd recommend siding the third MST. So yeah, back rows are going to kind of hurt a little bit, if not a lot. Where Arf Thou is great because your whole entire deck is virtually level 1 monsters, so that really helps out. Monster Reborn goes without saying, and then Ceasefire, you'll see in one of the other videos too that it's not just attacking that is a big threat. The fact that you can flood the entire field, basically fill up all the monster slots, 10 monsters with Ceasefire, that's 5,000 worth of damage. So right away that can be a game changer, and that's why it could be completely valid to look at doing something with more of a burn kind of variant in this deck. So, but the one Ceasefire is good. It also kind of stops any kind of flip effects that might cause some damage to how you're running the deck. So that's the Chaos variant. We'll just kind of briefly talk about some of the other kind of spells and traps and monsters and variants, other things that can be done with the deck. This to me feels a little bit like a Winmore kind of card. Opti Camouflage Armor. It's cool because if there for some reason you can't, you've lost that turn. Where this deck really works is when they attack in House Duston and you special summon the Dustins to their side of the field in attack position, and they don't have the opportunity to change them to defense. So you bring out your Goblin King right away and attack into a 0 attack monster. So that's when the armor comes into play. You can only equip this card to a level 1 monster. A monster equipped with this card can attack your opponent's life points directly. So the nice thing is, if they figured out how to stop you and they put everything into defense, you can still bring out that Goblin King and attack directly with your Opti Camouflage Armor. In terms of talking about the Chaos Engine, you could kind of consider this a little bit of a Chaos Engine too, because Dark Smorg, while face up on the field, this card is also a Wind attribute. You can banish 1 Dark monster and 1 Wind monster from your graveyard, special summon this card from your hand. So you can bring him out the same way you can with BLS and Chaos Sorcerer. You don't have as many targets, but Green Duston is a Wind, so he theoretically can support Dark Smorg. And the thing that's nice about Dark Smorg, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. Your opponent cannot set any cards on the field. So while we were talking about how devastating back row can be to this deck, Dark Smorg can kind of help out, so you can still get those plays going. Trag and Gores may or may not be more justifiable in the main deck than some of the other kind of choices here. Trag, like we said too, can make Neosphere and into Gustav Max. Gores, both these guys are fiends, so they both kind of play into the whole theme of Goblin King and pumping him up. This card actually I ran in the main for a little bit. The Puppet Magic of Dark Ruler is really cool. Select 1 Fiend type monster from your graveyard, remove from play monsters on your side of the field whose total levels exactly equal the level of the selected Fiend type monster, then special summon this selected monster from the graveyard. It's all about that consistency in terms of getting that House Duston out and getting that Goblin King out and making for game. One of the other strategies that kind of hurts this deck is when they flood the field and fill up all their monster card slots with non-Fiend type monsters, and you have a really weakened Goblin King. So DNA Surgery is nice because you can declare 1 type of monster, and as long as this card remains face up on the field, all face-up monsters become that type of what you declared. So you can declare Fiend, and everything becomes Fiend, and everything pumps up that Goblin King, and you've kind of ruined their whole way that they were going to shut you down. Burn variants, there are lots of burn cards. Because you can bring out multiple House Dustons onto your side of the field and send whatever you want to on the opponent's side of the field, Clear World is kind of cool. With House Duston being a light on your side, you just have to play with your hand revealed at all times. Not really that much of a biggie. Or if you have a dark out, you control 2 or more monsters, you cannot declare an attack. That's no biggie either. But if you can send a fire over to their side, which is the Red Duston, then Clear World actually plays into that kind of burn aesthetic where they take 1,000 damage during your end phase. So that's kind of cool. You can also send over that Wind monster, so they have to pay 500 life points to activate spell cards. I'm not a huge fan of Thundershort. I mean, of course, if it was a quick play, I definitely would be more on board. I just feel like deck space doesn't really allow for running Thundershort unless you're really in an aggro build. But Just Desserts, I think, does a better job. Just Desserts inflicts 500 points of damage to your opponent's life points for each monster that they have on their side of the field. So when you send the 4 Dustins over, that's an automatic 2,000 for each Just Desserts. Ojama Trio is not like a big deal as you think that it should be. It's good if you want to kind of lock down your opponent's deck with Spatial Collapse and then do some burn damage and stuff to them. But the problem I really have with Ojama Trio is that those tokens are all beast. They're all beast tokens, so it doesn't really help out with the fiends. So at times it cannot do what you really are looking to do. Secret Barrel is great too, because with Spatial Collapse out, their hand starts filling up. You're burying them for on the field and in their hand. Spatial Collapse we talked about earlier. Creature Swap. These last 2 cards I'm not huge advocates of, but I just thought I'd throw them anyways because I've done some testing with them. Creature Swap is cool because you can send your stuff over to the other side, and then send your Dustins over, so at least you're sitting on some kind of powerful monster. But it's kind of meh. Mass Chopper is kind of situational but fun, and it's kind of a what the fuck kind of thing. If this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, inflict 2,000 damage to your opponent, and it is a fiend, so you can search it, you can grab it, you can bring it out, special summon it, and when you have that 0 attack position Dustin on the other side, you just attack into it. They take 100. If it was Red Duston you attacked into, they take the 600, and then you deal the 2,000 damage. So Mass Chopper going into Red Duston does 2,600 damage. You know, and you can just Kinka Byo him out to the field, attack over top of it, and then overlay for Sheeny Magician. I just found it kind of situational and hurt some of the consistency. But that's pretty much the deck. That's what I'm looking at. If you have any suggestions at all, please let me know, and I'd be more than happy to go through them and test them out, and I'll keep you guys informed as how the deck goes as it progresses. Talk to you guys later. Take it easy.